Have you ever sat alone in a quiet room and whispered to God, "Why am I alone now?" even after trying to love everyone? Have you ever watched people slowly drift out of your life, even when you were kind, patient, and sincere? Loneliness feels like punishment. It feels like rejection. It feels like proof that something is wrong with you. But what if loneliness is not God taking people away? What if it is God making space? Sometimes God clears the room, not to hurt you, but so your heart can finally hear Him. Please stay until the end, because this story may change how you understand your silent seasons. In a quiet countryside village, where narrow dirt roads curved between small houses and open fields moved gently with the wind, there lived an old woman named Martha. She walked slowly and spoke gently, but her presence carried a deep and steady warmth. Her home was small and simple, yet anyone who entered felt peace there. Martha believed that God lived wherever kindness lived, so she made her home a place where kindness never ran out. There was a time when Martha's life was full of sound and movement. Her husband was strong and cheerful, a man who laughed easily and worked hard. Their son Daniel was curious and energetic, always asking questions about life and about God. They worked the land together, shared simple meals at a small wooden table, prayed before sleep, and dreamed honest, modest dreams. Martha often thanked God, not for wealth or luxury, but for enough. Then one winter, sickness came quietly. Her husband grew weaker with each passing day. Martha stayed beside him through long nights, holding his hand, feeding him slowly, whispering prayers she had learned as a child. Sometimes she begged God to heal him. Other times, she simply asked God to stay close. When her husband passed away one early morning, the house suddenly felt too large and painfully silent. Martha cried alone, asking God why love had to hurt so deeply. Yet something unexpected happened in that silence. Alongside the pain, she felt a gentle reminder. God's presence had not left with her husband. The silence hurt, but it was not empty. After his death, Martha's body grew slower. Her hands shook, her back bent under years of labor. Still, she prayed each morning. She believed God does not give strength for the whole future, only for the day in front of us. When Daniel grew older, he left the village to work in the city. At first, he returned often, filling the house again with stories and laughter. But over time, his visits grew shorter and rarer. Eventually, months passed without him coming at all. Martha learned to eat her evening meals alone. She learned the sound of the wind outside her window. Some nights, loneliness pressed heavily on her chest, and she quietly asked, "Is this all that remains for me?" Yet every morning, she still rose before the sun, washed her face, lit a small lamp, folded her hands, and thanked God for life. She never asked God to remove her loneliness. She only asked to be useful. Martha cooked simple food, cleaned her small home, and worked in her garden, where she felt closest to God as her hands touched the soil. Children passing by often stopped at her gate. She welcomed them with bread, fruit, and stories. She listened patiently to their worries, believing that God listens the same way, gently and without hurry. Some villagers wondered why she gave so much when she lived alone. Martha would smile and say, "Loneliness is not empty when God is present." Even animals seemed drawn to her home. Birds rested on her roof. A thin old dog waited outside her door each day. "God sends those who need love," Martha would say. One summer, Daniel returned from the city, looking tired and restless. He watched his mother serve others with what little strength she had left. "Mother," he said, "why do you work so hard? People will forget you. You should rest." Martha looked at him gently and replied, "My son, God has not forgotten me, and as long as I can give love, I am not alone." Daniel did not understand. To him, loneliness meant failure. He believed a full life was measured by noise and company, not quiet service. That evening, a poor traveler came asking for food. Martha welcomed him without hesitation. Before leaving, the man blessed her and said, "May God return your kindness when your strength is gone." Daniel heard the words, but their meaning had not yet reached his heart. As months passed, Martha's health weakened. Her steps grew shorter. Her nights grew longer. Some evenings, loneliness returned with force, and tears fell freely. But instead of growing bitter, Martha prayed more deeply, trusting that God was shaping her heart in ways she could not yet see. One winter, she became very ill. She could no longer stand or cook. When the villagers heard, something unexpected happened. People came from every direction. Women brought soup and medicine. Children sat beside her bed, holding her hand. Men stood outside her home, praying quietly. In that moment, Martha realized none of her kindness had been lost. God had kept it all. Daniel rushed back when he heard the news. When he saw so many people caring for his mother, his heart finally opened. Sitting beside her bed, he cried and said, "Mother, you are never alone." Martha smiled weakly and whispered, "God never takes love away. He only moves it." After she recovered, Daniel begged her to come live with him in the city. Afraid of losing her, Martha prayed and felt peace. She believed God was opening another door. City life was loud and crowded. At times, Martha still felt lonely inside the apartment. One day, Daniel took her to a home for orphaned children. When he told her she could help there, tears filled her eyes. She knew God had answered her loneliness once again. She cooked, told stories, prayed softly, and held children when they cried. They called her Grandma Martha. Years passed. Martha grew weaker, but her spirit remained strong. When she passed away peacefully, children, neighbors, workers, and strangers came to honor her life. Daniel stood quietly, understanding at last that his mother's lonely seasons were never empty. They were guided. And this is the lesson. When God makes you lonely, He is not punishing you. He is preparing you. He removes noise so you can hear love clearly. He removes people so your heart can grow wider. If you feel lonely today, remember this. God may be shaping you into light for someone else. Love given through God never disappears. It only finds new places to live.